Hey guys, it's me Chan Dragon. So today's video I'll covering regarding Cartethyia, and mostly I just want to answer some confusing, maybe some of you still in dilemma like pull Cartethyia or not. Like maybe you think like is it Ciaccona is a necessary? Like do you really need Aero Erosion team? Like how good she performed like just like free to play teams? I will just answer a couple of the common stuff. Especially I want to highlight in the casual perspective because in meta I will just explain very briefly, you will understand. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start first with the meta perspective. So if you want to give Cartethyia the best performance, do you really need Ciaccona? Then answer is straightforward is yes. Just because if you try to not use like Ciaccona, all the team tend to be around like 20 to 25 seconds worse than the other. Even you already try to put like Aero over, it's still worse around 20 seconds something like, which is that's why Ciaccona is right now her best partner. So of course if you want to play it into maximum into her potential, you really need Ciaccona. Also the continuation, you really need to play in the Aero Erosion team. In general, if you can play, yes, I really recommend, just because if you take off like let's say Aero over, it's kinda make it even worse literally. So better to have a little bit like Aero Erosion team in here. Even you don't have Ciaccona, putting Aero Rover is still pretty much a good choice as an alternative. So that's why I say like in the meta perspective, for sure you really need Aero Erosion team. But I want to talk also in a casual perspective. For the meaning of casual in here, that people that only want to clear content and don't really care about like to be efficient as long you clear and that's it. And yeah, I can say Cartethyia, if you just want to pull her alone, even without like Ciaccona, she's still pretty much good and strong character. At the worst, just put Aero Rover and it's still pretty much good in general. Same case like Zani, just put like Little Spectre Rover. If you want to make it even more harsh, you just take out Aero Rover. She still can pretty much work without like any Aero Erosion team. I pair with Yinlin, even with Storekeeper, there is no Aero Erosion team in there. It's still pretty much fine. It clears, and I can even say it's even performed better than Zani without Spectre Versal though. So in general, I can say even in the free-to-play perspective and for team selection, I think she's even stronger than Zani in terms of like, let's say you don't have any Aero Erosion team, because she's not as dependent as you think like Zani. Because Zani, I will explain in here. Zani without Spectre Versal, she at the best can only use one rotation when she on her ult. With Cartethyia, when she transformed into Fleur-de-Lis, basically without Aero Erosion, your combo still remain the same. There's nothing that feels restrictive in here. So because of that, it just feels also in terms of feeling, it's much nicer and feels more comfortable to play because there's nothing that you need to change to. Like it's basically you get all the full advantage in here, except of course you lose the match, of course, but everything is just pretty much full enjoyment. And this is why I can say like why Cartethyia even feels better in the free-to-play option team, because the flexibility in here. That means like in Cartethyia, you can just put random bullshit in your team, it can work. It doesn't feel restrictive. And I also forget to mention is that Cartethyia actually can apply some Aero Erosion in here. That's why she is less restrictive than Zani. And in terms of power and performance, actually I already explained in the meta perspective. So long story short, is the best option of course if you can get Ciaccona. After that, pair with Aero Rover, that will be the best option. But if you of course only free to play, just pair with the Aero Rover, and in general it's already good enough. But if you want to go fully free to play teams, it's also still doable for you to clear. And actually she has a lot of different team, much more than Zani. This is why I say like the why the Cartethyia design is better than Zani. Although she kinda reliant on Aero Erosion, but she has a lot of different alternative teams that you can still work around, because there's nothing that kinda restrict her in her rotation. So she's fully playable even with Aero Erosion. You can try even maybe with Changli, that I saw some people do that. You can even try with Carlota. I saw a lot of people just mix and match with Cartethyia, because Cartethyia even can work in quick swap. So yeah, in general, Cartethyia, the biggest winning in here is that her flexibility. I think in terms of powers and performance, quite similar like Zani, but plus flexibility. So that means even you as a free-to-play player doesn't have anything to invest, it's totally fine. It's more forgiving than Zani with Spectre Versal case. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, maybe some of you still in dilemma against Cartethyia, and I will address first regarding like if you just care about power like meta stuff like something like that, then I can say if you have Ciaccona, then yes, you can consider to get Cartethyia, because in general she right now is one of the best DPS if you have her full meta team. However, if you don't have that, then you just pretty much skip. I don't think you will like literally impress. But in general, for me, if you really like Cartethyia, you should not hold yourself though. If you really like her, just pull for her. She's still relatively strong. even without like Ciaccona, is still pretty much fine. You can still clear pretty much all the content, especially for casual. Just put Aero over and it's still pretty much good already. But even then, if you maybe still use Vector over with Zani and stuff, then you can just use like Sanhua, Ferina, something that it still pretty much can work because she's not as restrictive as Zani. But I want to give you a remind all the Zani events in here. I don't hate Zani, I'll still really like Zani, but I just say again, that's the only one cringe that I hate from Zani, is that how restrictive she is in the Spectropharsal. But for Cartethyia, I don't get that feeling and I actually really enjoying her right now. So yeah, pretty much that's it. If you like this video, feel free to hit subscribe button and a like, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.